Hello, Miss Yanks. I'm about to read chapter 17 by a book by Nilson called Every Shot Has a Purpose. Before I start reading, I want to talk a little bit about this book and this chapter. This is a book about golf psychology. It talks about things like emotional intelligence, how to elaborate a correct pre-shot and post-shot routine, how to have a positive self-talk during a round, how to stay in the present, and much more topics that help readers have a really solid mind during competition. In this book, I really learned a lot of stuff, but this chapter was very special to me. This chapter, apart from all the technical and mental work, and talks about the interior of each golfer. It teaches to play golf from your heart and for your interests. When I read this chapter, I was passing through a time where I was playing for everybody's pleasure, but not for my own pleasure. And this became an issue because everything you do with true passion should be done because it is born from your interior, not to satisfy other people. So this chapter was very special to me because it really helped me to think this way again. Okay, but I will stop making this protocolary beginning and I will start reading the chapter. Chapter 17. It's all about the person first. Toward the end of Phil Mickelson's 0-for-40 streak in major championships, he was playing in the Bay Hill Invitational shortly before the 2002 Masters. On the 16th hole, on the final day, Mickelson, trailing by a stroke, drove into some trees on the par 5 hole, whose green is guarded by water. Instead of laying up safely in front of the water and taking his chances on making a birdie from there, Mickelson hit the high-risk shot and went for the green. What resulted was a ball in the water and the end of his chances to win the tournament. Mickelson was universally criticized by the golf writers, who said the unwise shot that ended up wet was an example of the kind of gambling play Mickelson favored, which would never win a major in a championship. While it is important to know when to be aggressive, and while it is essential to take advantage of those times when your game is clicking on the cylinders with aggressive play, the truth of the matter is that one of the keys to competing successfully is knowing when to downshift and rein in your game. Most tournaments are lost than won, and a car is always under better control in a second gear than in fourth. Your career best score will be the result of a well-managed round as much as the result of a well-played round. Mickelson responded to the criticism with an interview before the 2002 Players' Championship that writers referred to as his "It Got to Be Me" news. He said he was only happy when he played gambling golf and that he could play his best only when he was happy. There was a lot of truth to what Mickelson said. Arnold Palmer might have won more tournaments than 7 major championships if he had played a more conservative Nicklaus-style game, but chances are that the Nicklaus approach would not have worked for Palmer. That wasn't his personality. It is absolutely essential that you don't separate your golfing self from your actual self. They are the same person, and unless they are totally integrated, you cannot play your best golf. Tom Lehman said to Seve Ballesteros, played with a body language that said, "No matter where this shot went, the next shot is going to be best you have ever seen." Lehman said that Nick Faldo's body language said, "I am the only person on the golf course." Both players were masters of what Faldo said was the 5 most important space on the golf course, the 5 inches between the ears. The mistake that Mickelson made during all those years of not winning a major championship was in not separating the physical approach that was best suited for his personality during the mental approach that would function best under pressure. Hogan played with a style that reflected the grays and whites he wore on the golf course. Palmer, who piloted his own plane and loved to share a laugh and drink with friends after a round, went to the course in a more carefree manner. Both were able to make wise decisions under pressure and had an ability to understand when to go for a pin and when to lay up because they played within themselves. Too often, players go out onto the course and try to be someone that they aren't. A normally talkative person becomes quiet and withdrawn because he thinks that it is what concentration is. Or a reserved individual tries to spice up her round with tiger-like first pumps because she or he thinks that it will release her inner tiger. The mistake both are making is that they are not being themselves. What we encourage you to do is to do your swing and your personality, then follow our approach. The magic of our approach is that we release an athlete inside who is capable of being a more consistent, higher performing physical self. The think box and the play box are the essentially duality during the golf course. The key to a successful golf round is total commitment to the task at hand. Make your decision, believe in your decision, trust your decision, and then act on your decision. But trust must also be built before you get into the golf course. Preparation for a round begins with your practice routines, and it begins with the manner in which you physically approach to the competition. Did you get enough sleep? Did you have a proper meal at an appropriate time for yourself before the round? Did you warm up successfully? In our experience of coaching all levels of golfers, building a self-esteem and self-worth separate from performance is of major importance in the game of golf. Players will always have ups and downs when it comes to performance. It is a natural cycle in every human. The players who cannot keep their self-esteem at a base during the round, they have down times and they have a difficult time sustaining motivation and energy. The pure enjoyment of playing the game with all of its inherent challenges, changes, and wanes, it is incredible. The same goes for our superstars on tour. They also need to be seen for who they are and not for what they do. Toward the end of a round, instead of always asking, "Why did I hit this shot?" try starting your post-round conversation with some of the following questions. What did I learn today? How was it for me today? What experience do you want to remember from today's round? Was there any time you became absorbed in the process instead of concerning yourself with your score? How was this round different from the other rounds? Tell me about your best experience of the course today. What was one of the critical decisions you made today? Where and on what did you focus if you were on the course today? If you could change something, what would you change? How would you like to prepare for your next round? The score will always be there on the scorecard, but shifting your evaluation of the experience from a quantitative outcome to more of a reflective outcome about the process, the opportunity for learning insight is greatly increased. The answers for the future of your game might reveal themselves as if you look more deeply and widely than just to the number you posted on the leaderboard. At the very least, it's a more interesting conversation that will produce a healthier perspective about you and your experience in golf. Remember that you are a human being who plays golf, not a golfer who happens to be a human. The best golfer you can be is yourself. Okay, so this is the end of the chapter. I really enjoyed this chapter. I hope you also enjoyed it. And I hope you learned something. And I hope that something is you should always be yourself. and you should always live for yourself, and that's it. That is the key of life. Thank you.